Chander, good morning. My name is Ash Singh. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Ash. I'm doing great. Thank you. ECA, Easy Care at Home, was created with a personal observation of challenges faced by families finding customized care for the loved ones. United Nations estimates that the number of people over 60 worldwide is set to triple to 2 billion by 2050. 87% of Canadians age 55 plus prefer to receive care at home. A week of care delivered in hospital costs 20 times more than care delivered at home. So there is a two-dimensional problem that we are trying to address. Dimension one is challenge in finding credible, compassionate, and customized care for families and loved ones and individuals. And the second dimension is care providers find it difficult to optimize their earning and hence are attriting the care delivery profession. And that's a big challenge here. ECA's solution here is on-demand easy care at home, personal support for daily activities and rehab at home, physiotherapy and other things at home virtually. So bringing the care capability to home. We have a technology platform to empower families and individuals and care providers to deliver customized care and on their own terms. We are on an exciting journey, and we invite you to partner with us on easy care anytime, anywhere, making this possible. ECA's mission of easy care anytime, anywhere, and we're looking for $1 million to expand the growth and hire a CTO, because this is a technology is a foundation for that platform, and build a customer service organization, because customer experience, we want to make sure that's stellar.
Excellent. All right.
Are you on board?
Yeah, would love to chat more, Chander. Thank you for your pitch.
Sure.
Let's get some feedback on it. So, Chander, when I think about what you're working on, right, the ECA platform, you're looking for $1 million. Okay, that was clear. I want to, as I think about what you're doing, when I think about the storytelling around what you're doing, I think the idea of in 2021, the cost of healthcare, because you talk about two things, right? One is the cost. The second is what's the best type of care. And so right. If I understand correctly, right, your vision, your big picture is a future where every elderly person that is looking for the support that they need can get that through virtual means, by having humans log in via Zoom, for instance, by video conference, by having technology that is monitoring them, as well as any at-home support that is needed. And you've packaged that into a smart platform that is unique to the individual, and through that you're able to provide healthcare at maybe as cheap as 1/20th of what it would cost at a hospital, but at the same level of quality. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So that's it. Does that summarize kind of where you're going?
One other aspect, there are two different critical aspects of Ash here as well. So one aspect is we are empowering the care providers to make more money. Because there is a lot of demographic shift which is happening especially in North America, if we look at US and Canada, and the aging people are increasing. But the care providers are struggling to make their ends meet, and they're attriting from care delivery services to other professions, and which is going to create a huge gap. So we are trying to help the communities, both sides, people who are looking for customized care for their loved ones at a lower cost. And our focus here is to eliminate the middleman. So today the care is managed through agencies, and there is a lot of cost involved in that management. We are looking at enabling this whole experience with technology so that it is seamless and it reduces cost.
So basically, from what Uber did to the taxi industry, what you're doing is saying, I'm going to build a platform, and a care provider can earn maybe double the amount of money just coming to me directly, right? Instead of them going to a nursing home and then being outsourced, and then you have, you are going to eliminate the middle layer and kind of Uberify, and I don't know if that's interesting for you, but use the same concept, but do it for the healthcare, the care providers, right?
That's correct.
They earn more money. Okay, yeah. Correct, right?
Absolutely.
So, but that's at the same time of, right? You're lowering the cost for the customer and the person who is the caregiver, right?
Right.
And whilst they're making more money. Is that correct?
That's correct. The critical aspect, one more, which I want to emphasize here, is the challenge that families face in finding customized care. And customized care is language,
Sure.
ethnicity,
Sure.
the background, the location, all those things which makes them comfortable getting somebody out from outside into their family to deliver care to their loved one. And that is an empathy and compassion element, which is extremely important, Ash, here.
Yeah.
Which we are able to address. So this is care on demand. So you decide what kind of care you want, and you are able to go to our app and identify the care provider, who's exactly suitable for your specific need.
Care on demand. Interesting. All right. And so with the capital, you're looking for $1 million. What are you going to use the money for? You want to get a CTO to kind of build the process out. So
so we have created an app, which is the starting point. We tested the MVP. At this time, we have about $20,000 revenue started to come every month. It is increasing month on month. Like in September, we had in August we had 5,000. In last month, I think it was just 12,000. This month it will be about $20,000. So we started to see traction moving forward. This is if some people can call us, not everybody is comfortable with the app. So we need people, a customer service team available to address their calls, handle their calls, provide feedback, get them comfortable with the thing. And this is a new brand. So Ika, nobody knows right now. And care is something that people will only engage you with if they have trust. Right. So normally there are informal channels people go through, referrals or references, So here that credibility and brand that has to be visible to people so that they feel more comfortable and connected with it. Yes. So we need to get the message out, maybe some videos out on social media, maybe some things like that. We create a strong, compelling value proposition, which makes people comfortable while coming and engaging with it.
Chander, tell me a little bit about, as I was listening to your pitch, another question is around credibility. Tell us why you and your team are the best people to create this, right? Do you have any experience and background in the industry? Because I felt like I wanted to know that when you were pitching.
Yeah, sure, Ash. So I have over 25 years of experience in management consulting and transforming processes across verticals in different areas. And, I also teach at Rutgers Business School on designing innovative business systems.
Cool.
Which is a program on innovation. So what I wanted to do when I observed this problem with a close family friend, they were looking for care for their loved one. This friend of mine was looking care for his wife, who would speak Portuguese and Japanese. And it was a real struggle. So if he had to step out for some time to get grocery or medication for her, there was no way for him to find to do that, and there was a huge challenge, for getting that kind of customized care. So our platform, we want to provide all those functionalities available, which are real challenges which people are facing today, to address the need, and make it easier for them. So my experience of working with processes and across integrating multiple capabilities together is what we are trying to bring here. We are trying to bring here digital elements, digital. So if you just take 30 more seconds, there is some families, they have to work away from the parents. The parents might be up north somewhere and they are in Toronto because that's where the jobs are. Now they care for their parents. Now, if we can create an integrated experience for the family members, where they can monitor their loved ones' credentials on an ongoing basis. So just like we have home monitoring, we are also thinking of having healthcare monitoring of their loved ones. And those could be packages which can be customized. We give them a digital kit which has all the things for virtual monitoring for all those things, and that will help the experience. But this is a little futuristic. We have a roadmap kind of thing that we are building on.
Understood. Yeah. So. Would you like me to pitch this idea back? I'm going to try.
Sure, would love to do that.
I want to see if we can get this going. We're hitting the top of the elevator. You can introduce yourself, Chander, and I will pitch Ika to you. Over to you.
Great. Good morning, Ash. I am from Ontario government, and I'm looking for some exciting solutions in healthcare transformation.
All right. Great to speak to you, Chander. My name is Ash Singh. I'm part of the Ika team. As you know, one of the biggest burdens for Ontario and the Ontario government is healthcare. What we've been doing over the last several years is we've actually created a platform that aims to solve one of the biggest problems, and that is elderly care. We know that currently when you have somebody, a senior in a hospital, it's a very expensive proposition. And so what we've done is we have rethought this, and we ask ourselves, how can we leverage technology to create a more personalized, localized experience for the care providers to be able to add some value in the whole ecosystem. So we've put this platform together where we want to be able to allow anyone that's looking for patient care to be able to have something that is at home, okay, that leverages the right technology as well as the right virtualization processes to make sure that we can provide even better care at almost 1/20th the price. And I know it sounds really weird, but we live in 2021 now where these things can happen. And so just like you've seen Uber transform and change transportation, we want to do that for healthcare, and we want to do this in Ontario. We feel that our care on demand service is something that can provide a lot of improvements, both for the patients, but also for the nurses, the care providers that are in the ecosystem, allowing them to generate more money so that they stay in the industry because we see them leaving. We're looking for $1 million to get this going, but as a member of the Ontario government, we want to start getting some pilots with you as well. I'd love to talk a little bit more on how we can make that happen.
Great. Thank you so much, Ash.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So I was trying to, what I was trying to do, and this is hard to do, is I'm trying to figure out in my head, and like I'm putting myself on the spot, but what I wanted to do was I felt like we can encapsulate, and I brought this up earlier, which I think I did a better job than in my pitch, but the idea of what the future is going to look like. Okay. Mm-hmm. You paint the future where you have smart home devices that can speak any language. Okay. You have people monitoring with IoT devices. You have people joining virtually to take care of the person. And then if needed, there's that in-person care that's done by the healthcare provider or the child or the family member, to package that all together. Do you know what I mean, Chander? That's your system.
Right. Yeah.
And so encapsulating that in a simple 1 to 2 sentence pitch and saying, what does this do? It makes it more localized. It's better. It's better because there's more monitoring happening, and it's done at 1/20th of the price of the hospital. So you're getting hospital grade healthcare for 1/20th of the price, just because I'm connecting the dots a little bit different. Okay. Right. That's what I wanted to come out, and I was trying to pull it in. I think I needed to drink a little bit more coffee, but that's what I'm trying to do. That's what you are doing. That's what your mode operandi is, and being able to say that in a concise, powerful statement. Okay. Because you need to tell them about what the future is going to be. And as long as they believe that one of them is going to work, okay, whether it's your Apple Watch connected to your smart speaker system, and there's all these components happening, you kind of live in this new world. And the current reality is there's doctors in Ontario that still don't have an email address. Okay. Right. Still faxing stuff in Ontario. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Right. How does that work? Right. And so these are the things that you want to play in, but then you also need to know exactly where you're going to play, because there's this vast ocean. Right. Okay. And you need to know exactly where you're going to fish, because you also don't want to be caught in ambiguity, Chander, right? Where you're trying to do so many things at once that the investor doesn't have that clarity on where you're going to go first. Right? That needs to come in. You want $1 million, get $1 million, but how is that going to get me to your next round of funding? And how are you going to make sure that whatever you do is going to increase your valuation by 4x, so I'm not diluted?
Right.
Does that make sense, Chander?
Yeah, yeah,
These are the
absolutely.
things that I want you to kind of weave into your structure, right? But
Right,
it's a complicated thing that you're trying to do because it's service layer, it's personality layer, there's cultural components. We have to distill it, right, and get to that power statement. And what happens is I want to be able to say you can provide this, and they should turn around and say, wow, you can do that. Let's find out more. I want to see it.
right,
I want to, and that's what
right.
I'm trying to do. When you're doing your elevator pitch, it needs to kind of come out like that, right?
Sure.
Get those
There are a lot
piles.
of parts here, Ash. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of
Yeah,
parts, and we have to create a roadmap.
correct.
Right,
Correct.
and so
But it's like anything else, right? There's always a lot of parts in a lot of things, right? And you probably know this better from your background, but it's always about figuring out how do we distill it and how do we make sure that we can control the controllables and be in a position where we can actually scale it and get it to the right, get it to where we need to go, right? And as Steve Jobs did, he was known for saying no to things. It's like, okay,
right,
let's just focus on this. Let's just get this right, okay? And what you'll see with a lot of this, the MVPs, the successful MVPs, and our research has shown this, the best MVPs kind of are really zeroing in, and it's so simple, okay, right, that it's almost boring, okay? It's so simple that it's almost boring. But the reason for that is because you want to make sure you can control that whilst your variable are your early adopters that are coming in, and you're able to do that and manage that, right? And in healthcare, it's just very messy. It's a very complex kind of area to play in, especially when you have universal healthcare in countries like Canada and provinces like Ontario.
right, right. Yeah,
So that's my view on it, but I want that to come out, Chander. We need to work on
sure.
that a little bit more. Okay.
I
I want to
agree. I
get
agree. We'll appreciate.
that piece that we do, and I want to be able to have that really strong 1-2 sentence statement where it just gets it going, and it's like, wow, really?
Right.
You can do that, right?
Yeah.
And so we need to do a little bit of work on that, Chander.
Sure. And also, I wanted to understand you 1 million. I have a view, but based on your experience in this segment, would like to get your sense. What is the right investment that we should ask for to really
Yeah,
scale it up for the next level? Because there is a lot of things that can be done,
yeah.
and it's building the right team to scale it up to the 10x kind of model.
Yeah. So my view around when you're fundraising, right? Again,
Mhm.
it's about a personal conversation on where you're using your money for. The way I like to do it is, Chandra, I don't know if you have kids. When my kids ask me for money, I'm like, what are you going to use it for? What's
Right.
this money for? What are you going to use it for? Right? And
Right.
and I get them to kind of justify it, right? And so when I think about what you're doing, right, the idea of getting $1 million just for a CTO is a bit of an ask, right? Because it's just for one person. That's what you said your financials are for. I think
CTO
that
and growth, marketing and building brand
sure,
visibility and connectivity.
absolutely. But when you go to an investor wants to know what their money is being utilized for,
Mm-hmm.
and what that money, how it's kind of like a gamble. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk a little bit about this as part of our Hyper Accelerator. What happens a lot of the times, people ask for money, but remember that investment is just a gamble. That's what it is. Okay.
Right.
They could put their
Right.
money in the bank. They could put it in an ETF. They could put it in crypto. There's different areas, but they want to give money. They want to give you money because they hope for some sort of return, Chander. Okay. I'm assuming
Right.
that this isn't your
Right.
friends and family, right?
Sure.
Aside from your grandma will give you money because she just likes you and she wants you to smile. Okay. But don't
Right.
take money from your grandmother. The thing
Right.
is around this, it's about, I'm going to use this money, and with that money, $250,000 is going to go to solidifying our MVP. Another $500,000 is going to be doing a couple of pilots in these areas, and the final $250,000 is going to be doing for marketing activation. And when it's done, this is where the business is going to be, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Most people don't talk about it like that. They just talk about the money. This is what I need. Okay.
Right.
And if you think about it, it's been glorified on platforms like Shark Tank. I want to, this is what I need. And I'm going to give you some equity. Okay. Sure. That's okay. That's a very easy thing to talk about. But more importantly, it's about, I'm going to take your money, and within the next 18 months, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And based on what I said, I want you to take a bet on me and what we're going to do. Okay.
Right.
I'd like to talk a little bit more detail, but it needs to be a little bit more granular, right? And some investors that just have money and like you, Chander, they're going to be like, Chander, you're a really stylish guy, and I like your tie, right? Yeah, let me. But for the rest of us, I have always found, actually, an elevator pitch has nothing to do with you or your company. It's all about aligning and checking boxes with the investor. That's your goal, right? And so, Chander, that's how when we do it, right? And that's why practice is so important, right? When you go and you are giving your elevator pitch and you're going through the process and making this happen, it's so important to be able to know your content well, because then the 1 minute is just about, like, I could be speaking, but my mind, I'm speaking rehearsed and I know what I'm going to say. I'm spending my time looking at you, knowing what you're thinking, seeing your body language, where your eyes are moving, right? And knowing that, oh, when I said something like Uberification, your eyes lit up. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. And because I know it's important, right? And so this is, with practice, your elevator pitch is not about you or your company. It turns into what the investor wants and how do you build trust with the investor, right? That's the process, right? Sure. And that's a bit of an, Chander, like, I've been elevator pitching now for 15 years. I still find it a little stressful, but I've have experience doing it. Right. And there are some times, by the way, when I was this was like 10, 12 years ago, I used to have some of my friends that were raising money. They used to say, Ash, I have an investor pitch, but I can't pitch it. Can you go as a co-founder? So I'm like, okay, send me your deck. And then the next morning I was pitching their idea to an investor. So there was a lot of times when I was younger where I was a hired pitch guy, but I practiced, right? And I used to think about the mechanics, because it is almost like a play. And tomorrow you're going to be doing keynotes in front of thousands of people, Chander, right? You're going to have the opportunity to explore and express and really understand the nuances of your audience is part of these elements, right? And so that's kind of the view from today. But hopefully that helps.
Thank you so much, Ash.
Right?
This is very valuable.
No, my pleasure, Chander. We're here for you, and our goal again is to elevate. This has been an opportunity for you to pitch in a comfort zone, and people are going to learn about your company, and you get to that opportunity now to elevate the elevator pitch, because you are going to be spending a lot of time. If you're going to be a CEO of a company, you are going to be pitching your idea probably once or twice a day. Okay. You might as well be good at it, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
And so this is why we try to do this, Chander, and we want you to elevate, spark the right interest, because it's also, when we think about entrepreneurship and startup, there's also the probability game. Probability of success in startup is very low. And so the idea of making sure you finesse these components could be that difference as part of your startup journey.
Sure.
And that's why we take, every word means something, Chander, right? When you're talking, when you are articulating yourself, if you're speaking to a Canadian, right? What you say and how you say it is different than if you're talking to somebody from New York. You can ask David, right? And it's different than if you're talking to somebody from Milan, right? But the words and what you do on your slide and your slide story, everything is around these pieces. And there is a little bit of drama associated to it, right? You need to know you're an actor in a play, right? And so that's my view in terms of the process. So Chander, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming and sharing what you're doing. And I think that along with we hope that you're successful with your startup, but I also think that the whole world needs to start rethinking around how people are looking at elderly care, and it starts with people like you that are trying to tackle this real problem, because it is a big problem. Okay, for anyone
Sure.
that's had to
Yeah.
do elderly care, and we know how expensive healthcare is in a lot of parts of the world. And so we encourage your success, and we're always here to support. So thank you
Thank you
very
so much.
much. Have a wonderful day, and thank you
You
again for
too.
making the time, right?
Thank you.